Hello, dear. Hi, dear. How is your day going? Hi, hello, hello. Hurry up, guys, to join to the live stream. Thank you so much for your joining. English, yeah. Hurry up, guys, to join the stream. I'm be waiting for that, guys. You should have hurry up to join the stream. To write your name in the chat, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Every respected member, you should be have to write your name in the chat, guys. Achu, hurry, Achu. Achu, hurry, Achu. Thank you so much for your joining. Larry, thank you so much for joining to stream, dear Larry. Hurry up, guys, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Amber, hurry up, dear Amber. Thank you so much for your joining, dear Amber. A lot of love and respect for your joining. Every respected member, you should be have to write your name in the chat, guys. Nala, how are you, Nala? Thank you so much for your joining, pretty Nala. How are you, Nala? Thank you so much for your joining. Benson, how are you, Benson? Thank you so much for your joining, Benson. Malinde, how are you, Malinde? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Malinde. How are you, Malinde? Thank you so much for your joining. Every respected member, you should be write your name in the chat to encourage the likes and to do the super chat. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for your joining. Thank you. Welcome, dear Malinde. Thank you so much for your joining to the stream. If you wanna can support, you should do the super chat, guys. Melinda, yeah, you're Melinda. Thank you, Melinda. Anna, how are you, Anna? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Anna. How are you, dear Anna? Wolf, how are you, Wolf? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Wolf. A lot of love and respect for your joining. Tanisha, how are you, Tanisha? Adam, how are you, Adam? David, how are you, David? Krishna, how are you, Krishna? Cocabelle. Oh, thank you for the sitter. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you, Carol. How are you, Carol? Rishi, how are you, Rishi? Stanham, can you send me a laughing disco? Tagore, how are you, Tagore? Satnam, thank you, Satnam, thank you. Thank you for the setter, dear Satnam. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. Leo, how are you, Leo? Winnie, how are you, Winnie? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Winnie. Coca-Cola, how are you, Coca-Cola? Thank you so much for your joining, Coca-Cola. Cabby, how are you, Cabby? Thank you so much for your joining, Cabby. How are you, Cabby? Petro, how are you, Petro? Oh, Victoria, thank you for the sitter. Petro, how are you, Petro? Victoria, can you send me a laughing disco if you can easily, Victoria? Thank you so much, Victoria. If you have jowls, you should send me a one laughing disco for my support. Thank you so much, Victoria, for my support. Yusa, for you, Yusa. Thank you, Echo. Thank you so much, dear. Venshu, how are you, Venshu? Karsian, how are you, Karsan? Thank you, Karsan. Hannah, how are you, Hannah? Thank you so much, dear Hannah. Tanisha, how are you, Tanisha? Thank you so much for your joining, Tanisha. How are you, Tanisha? Ageta, how are you, Ageta? Thank you so much for your joining, Ageta. Leo, how are you, Leo? Archim, how are you, Archim? How are you, Archim? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Archim. Laroraj, how are you, Laroraj? Thank you so much for your joining. Any person can do the super chat or send a laughing disco, guys, for my support. If you cannot do the laughing disco, you will send me a 6-7. Yeah. Lulu, how are you, Lulu? Thank you so much for the sitter and dear Koreshna. Hurry up, guys, to send the laughing disco or do the super chat. Bend over, how are you, bend over? Thank you so much for your joining, bend over. Lulu, I write your name there, Lulu. Here is your name. Looks that. Yeah. Hurry up, guys. To write your name in the chat, guys. Mary Bina. Hurry, Mary Bina. Hurry, Mary Bina. Any person can do the super chat for the support, guys. Samuel, hurry, Samuel. Brown, hurry, Brown. If you can easily, you should do a super chat for the support, guys. Thank you so much for your joining. Gabriel, how are you, Gabriel? Gabriela, how are you, Gabriela? Thank you so much for your joining. Tamir Land, Tamirland, how are you, Tamirland? Amelia, how are you, Amelia? Thank you so much for your joining. Sophie, how are you, Sophie? Johnny, how are you, Johnny? 10 subscriber, subscribe 10 times. Thank you, Cavalry. Thank you. Thank you, Cavalry. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, to do a super chat for my support, guys, send the laughing disco or follow stat. Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, guys. ZZ, hurry up, ZZ. Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, guys. Trevor. Thank you, Stanham. Thank you for the sector, Stanham. Stanham, can you send me a 167 Alani? How are you, Alani? Anna Roll, how are you, Anna Roll? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Anna Roll. Emily, how are you, Emily? Thank you so much for your joining. Anna Roll, how are you, Anna Roll? Thank you so much for your joining. Any person can do the super chat for the support or send the laughing disco. Lorena, how are you, Lorena? Viewer, how are you, viewer? Thank you so much for your joining. Katsia, how are you, Katsia? Thank you so much for your joining, Katsia. Hurry up, guys. Vipu, how are you, Vipu? Thank you so much for your joining, Vipu. Alia, how are you, Alia? How are you, Alia? Thank you so much for your joining. Vilma, how are you, Vilma? Any person, Mark, how are you, Mark? Thank you so much for your joining. Any person can do the super chat, guys. Thank you so much for your joining. Lule, how are you, Lule? Samir, how are you, Samir? Any person can do the super chat for the support, guys. Zami, how are you, Zami? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, guys. Jesus, how are you, Jesus? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Jesus. A lot of love and respect for you, joining Jesus. Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, guys. Making the like and subscribing to the channel. A lot of love and respect for you, joining. Yeah, guys, you should do a super chat for my support, guys. Make a small donation of the super chat. Alham, how are you, Alham? How are you, Alham? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat. Ada, how are you, Ada? Awa, how are you, Awa? I see ya, how are you, I see ya? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat. Damia, how are you, Damia? Rohan, thank you so much for the sitter. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you. Encourage the likes, guys. Please encourage the likes. Thank you, Rohan. Rohan, can you send me a laughing disco for my support, my dear? If you can easily, you should have to send a one laughing disco. Amu, how are you, Amu? Lalian, how are you, Lalian? Thank you so much for your joining. Balamo, how are you, Balamo? Marano, how are you, Marano? Thank you so much for your joining, Marano. Anybody can do the super chat for the support, guys. Make a small donation. Rohan, I write your name, dear Rohan. Rania, how are you, Rania? Thank you so much for joining once again, Rania. Every respected member to write your name in the chat, to send the flag of your country, guys. And Rimsha, how are you, Rimsha? Yeah, guys, too, if you can super chat, you should do a super chat, guys. Vanessa, how are you, Vanessa? Laura, how are you, Laura? Alice, how are you, Alice? Any person can send the laughing disco or do the flow state. Yeah, guys, laughing disco and flow state, these are my favorite gift, guys. If you can, and guys, do like, guys, please. Samson, how are you, Samson? Let's get a new gift, guys. Jojo, how are you, Jojo? Let's get a new gift today, guys. Who is going to play the new gift, guys, today? Hazor, how are you, Hazor? Mario, how are you, Mario? So Rohan, you, if you have a 6-7, can you play the 6-7, Rohan? Maline, how are you, Malinde? Romy, how are you, Romy? Brenna, thank you so much for watching from USA, dear Brenna. Yuna, how are you, Yuna? Any person can send them, can do the super chat for the support, guys. Yeah. Arene, how are you, Arene? Alice, how are you, Alice? Ariel, how are you, Ariel? Livigny, how are you, Livigny? Barika, how are you, Barika? Aradna, how are you, Aradna? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Aleph, how are you, Aleph? Hurry up, guys. Davi, how are you, Davi? Every person, you should have to write your name in the chat, guys. Annie, how are you, Annie? And if you can easily, you have to do the donation, guys. Make a small donation of the super chat for my support, guys. Mali, how are you, Mali? Pam, how are you, Pam? Maya, how are you, Maya? Asal, how are you, Asal? Penelope, how are you, Penelope? How are you, Penelope? John, how are you, John? Linon, how are you, Linon? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Colin, how are you, Colin? To skip the line, do the super chat, guys. Avadi, how are you, Avadi? Else, how are you, Else? Megan, how are you, Megan? Chiquita, how are you, Chiquita? Karen, how are you, Karen? Any person can do the donation, guys. Okay, John, how are you, John? Jose, how are you, Jose? Yeah, guys, you can do the super chat for my support, guys. If you wanna, can easily. Padim, how are you, Padim? Kara, how are you, Kara? Norgis, how are you, Norgis? Hurry up, guys. To write your name in the chat, guys. Gob, how are you, Gob? Thank you so much for your joining. Parallel, how are you, Parallel? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, guys. David, how are you, David? Thank you so much for your joining, dear David. Andre, how are you, Andre? Annie, how are you, Annie? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat. Daphne, how are you, Daphne? Hurry up, guys, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Josie, how are you, Josie? Alex, how are you, Alex? Thank you so much for your joining. Loki, how are you, Loki? Valeria, how are you, Valeria? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Malo, how are you, Malo? Here is your name, dear Malo. Jackson, how are you, Jackson? Any person can do the super chat for the support, guys. Andrea, how are you, Andrea? Pave, how are you, Pave? Gamzi, how are you, Gamzi? Hurry up, guys. Derek, how are you, Derek? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Namor, how are you, Namor? How are you, Namor? Parallel, how are you, Parallel? Marcelina, how are you, Marcelina? Adam, how are you, Adam? Oh, Liz, thank you, Liz, for the support, Liz. Thank you, Liz. Ken, how are you, Ken? Liz, can you send a one laughing disco for my support? Lilcam, how are you, Lilcam? Jack, how are you, Jack? Marvy, how are you, Marvy? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Marvy. Lucy, how are you, Lucy? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Julia, how are you, Julia? Rosaline, how are you, Rosaline? Aubrey, how are you, Aubrey? Any person can do the super chat for my support, guys. Jabber, how are you, Jabber? Zach, how are you, dear Zach? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Zach. Mia, how are you, Mia? Welcome, Adoria. Welcome, Adoria. Kasnija, how are you, Kasnija? Thank you so much for your joining. Talia, how are you, Talia? Every person to write your name in the chat, guys. Jab or write your name. Niji, how are you, Niji? Leora, how are you, Leora? Elson, how are you, Elson? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Lizzie, can you send a one laughing disco? Samuel, how are you, Samuel? Benjamin, how are you, Benjamin? Any person can do the super chat for my support, guys. Bradley, how are you, Bradley? Encourage the likes, guys. Encourage the likes and do the super chat for my support. Yeah. Alan, how are you, Alan? You know it's a very hard. Aaron, how are you, Aaron? Hello, dear Alma. How are you, Alma? Jokui, how are you, Jokui? Sam, how are you, Sam? Any person can do the super chat, guys, for the support. Yeah, Alexis, how are you, Alexis? Sarah, how are you, Sarah? Batteries, how are you, Batteries? Encourage the likes, guys. Encourage the likes. Suke, how are you, Suke? Encourage the likes, guys, and to do the super chat for the support. Yeah, guys, to do the super chat for the support, guys. Dana, how are you, Dana? Yeon, how are you, Yeon? Ibrahim, how are you, Ibrahim? Katsi, how are you, Katsi? Lara Raj, how are you, Lara Raj? Every respected member, you should have to write your name in the chat, guys. Muhammad, Joy, Queen, Das, how are you, Das? Tarajo, how are you, Tarajo? Jasu, how are you, Jasu? Tamur, how are you, Tamur? Every respected member have to write your name in the chat, guys. You should have to do the super chat for the support, guys. Sawer, how are you, Sawer? Louis, sorry, Louis, what you have right? You should be right in English. Jalan, how are you, Jalan? Jigam. Moke, how are you, Moke? Any person can do the super chat. Madison, please guys, if you can easily, you should be do the super chat for my support, guys. You know, be supportive. Every person be supportive, guys. Yeah. You know, it's very hard to do a ring aroha. Yeah, guys, be supportive. I'm waiting for that. Who is going to do a super chat for that today, guys? Yeah. Kawa, how are you, Kawa? Tangrik, how are you, Tangrik? Finan, how are you, Finan? Yeah, guys, to be supportive, guys. Every person be supportive to do the super chat for my support. Who is going to do the super chat, guys? Arpita, hurry up, Arpita. Ale, hurry, Ale. Hurry up, guys. Any person can do a super chat for the support, guys. Yeah, guys, you should do a small donation, guys. Yeah, the small donation is enough for me. Coco. Coco, hurry, Coco. Moke, hurry, Moke. Yusuf, hurry, Yusuf. Any person can do the super chat, guys. Malaika, hurry, Malaika. Keva, hurry, Keva. Any person can do the super chat, guys, please. Sufi, hurry, Sufi. Yona, how are you, Yona? Laraj, how are you, Laraj? Moke, here is your name, Moke. Looks that. Malaika, here is your name, dear Malaika. Here is your name, Cave. Cave, where is Cave? Cave, Cave is here is Malaika. Here is Cave. Hi, Levi. Alana, how are you, Alana? Q1, how are you, Q1? Lucinda, how are you, Lucinda? Das, how are you, Das? Nelia, how are you, Nelia? Any person can send a gift, guys. Satarakis, Nelia, I write your name. Satarakis, how are you, Satarakis? Lamar, how are you, Lamar? Gavin, how are you, Gavin? Oh, thank you so much for the sitter. Artorias, can you send me a laughing disco for my support, Artorias? Artorias, can you send a laughing disco for my support, dear Artorias? Amish, how are you, Amish? Alina. Any person can do the super chat, guys, please. Faria, how are you, Faria? Arenza, how are you, Aren? Z, how are you, Aren Z? Delara, how are you, Delara? Kias, how are you, Kias? Neon, how are you, Neon? Lara, how are you, Lara? Sunny, how are you, Sunny? Any person can send me a one laughing disco, please, guys. Lower, how are you, Lower? Laura, how are you, Laura? Jen, how are you, Jen? Sharix, how are you, Sharix? Amy, how are you, Amy? Any person can send me a one laughing disco, please, guys. Pamela, How are you, Pamela? How are you, Pamela? Reza, how are you, Reza? Salma, how are you, Salma? Leah Max, how are you, Leah? Maxim, how are you, Leah Maxim? Jonathan, how are you, Jonathan? Zoe, how are you, Zoe? Sophia, how are you, Sophia? Igam, how are you, Igam? Dejan, how are you, Dejan? How are you, Dejan? Any person can send the laughing disco, guys. Samira, how are you, Samira? Emily, how are you, Emily? Any person can send the laughing disco. Leticia, how are you, Leticia? Lavinia, how are you, Lavinia? Damia, how are you, Damia? Cancele, how are you, Cancele? Poppy, how are you, Poppy? Any person can send a laughing disco, guys, or do a super chat. You should have to do a one laughing disco, or do a super chat for my support, guys. Yeah, so you have to make a small donation, not big, guys. Make a small donation for the super chat. Joshua, how are you, Joshua? B2, how are you, B2? Alan, how are you, Alan? Yekero, how are you, Yekero? Alan, alright, Jenny Malon. Yonchi, Sar, how are you, Sar? Bangchan, Yonchan, here is Yonchan, okay. Hurry up, guys, to write your name. Hi, Emma, how are you, Emma? Aria, Kai, Eileen, Emma, Eden. Hurry up, guys. To write your name in the chat, guys. Megan, are you here, Megan? Megan, are you? Why not there? Any person can do the super chat, guys, or send the laughing disco for the support. Anika, how are you, Anika? Zad, how are you, Zad? Sabti Hassan. Stavi, how are you, Stavi? Adalia, how are you, Adalia? Moke, how are you, Moke? Any person can do the super chat for my support, guys. Kitali, how are you, Kitali? Bala, how are you, Bala? Any superhero is here for my support. Bala, here is your name, dear Bala. Jannat, how are you, Jannat? Any superhero is can do the super chat, guys, for the support. Nuli, how are you, Nuli? Yeah. Good. Any person can do the super chat for the support, guys. Make a small donation of the super chat, guys. Yeah, guys. Make a small donation for the support, guys. Thank you so much for your joining. Scarlett, how are you, Scarlett? Valentina, how are you, Valentina? section. Delora, yeah guys, any person can do the super chat for the support. Silvo, Lily, happy birthday to Lily. Hurry up guys to write your name in the chat to do a super chat, please guys. As soon, hurry as soon. Any person can do the super chat for my support guys. Yeah. Yeah guys, to make a small donation for my support, if you can easily guys to do a super chat for my support guys, and send me the laughing disco. Victor, how are you Victor? Send me a laughing disco, and yeah, send me a laughing disco or flow state. Engani, how are you Engani? Wayon, how are you Wayon? Panj, how are you Panj? Genio, how are you Genio? Milo, how are you Milo? Yeah guys, to do a super chat for the support guys. Vayon, how are you Vayon? Malian, how are you Malian? Dominag, how are you Domingue, how are you Domingue? Michael, how are you Michael? Jackson, how are you Michael Jackson? Saliva, how are you Saliva? Lily, how are you Lily? Jungwon, here is your name dear. Umar, how are you Umar? Marcelina, how are you Marcelina? Courage, how are you Courage? Laura, how are you Laura? Arnan, how are you Arnan? Albarat, how are you Albarat? Finan, how are you Finan? Ali, how are you Ali? Hyunjin, how are you Hyunjin? Star Tycoon, how are you Star Tycoon? Ade, how are you, Ade? Any person can do a super chat, guys. Brocky, how are you, Brocky? Marina, how are you, Marina? Yeah, guys, any person can do the super chat for the support, guys. You should do. Angela, how are you, Angela? Yeah, guys, you should do a super chat. Adina, how are you, Adina? Nintendo, how are you, Nintendo? Jadur, how are you, Jadur? Faride, Aslina, how are you, Aslina? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Tendo, Sharishit, Sharishit. Any person can do the super chat, guys. Hi, Naomi. How are you, Naomi? Lini, how are you, Lini? Alana, how are you, Alana? Naomi, how are you, Naomi? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Ozar, how are you, Ozar? Sally, how are you, Sally? Kin Sawad, how are you, Kin Sawad? Oral, how are you, Oral? Kemali, how are you, Kemali? Vinde, how are you, Vinde? Any person can do the super chat, guys. Ayu, how are you, Ayu? Wendy, here is your name, dear. Savera, how are you, Savera? Camille, here is your name, Camille.